Widgets, we're going to talk about widgets, and basically the widgets is this right sidebar column here. And the first thing I'll point out is, we have just, right now we're just using basically 3 sections, and that's this, the Connect section, the Event section, and our Twitter section. And we have all this gray space. Now, first thing is we can alleviate gray space by simply setting, how many posts are going to show up per page. So if I come into the settings section and I go to reading, I can set that. So right now we have 3. I can change that to, 2, I guess. Usually with blogs, people have at least 3, if not 5 to 8, per section. So I've got that now at 2. So if I refresh this is going to pull this section up. So now I have less gray. I'm only showing 2 posts, but still we have a lot of gray in there. So let me put this back to 3, and what I would recommend is taking advantage of all that gray space and using basically what WordPress has to offer to you. And by doing that, we want to manage and utilize widgets. So if I go to Appearance and then Widgets, what I'll see is the sidebar, the blog, and then the About Us section right here. The About Us section I'll cover a little bit later, but what we now want to focus on is the sidebar for the blog, and that's this right here. So first things, I just want to kind of cover how this thing works. And it's a drag and drop for one. So if I move my mouse over, I get that little grabber here, and I can rearrange this. So, heck, maybe I want Twitter first. I drag and let go, it automatically saves. If I refresh, Twitter's first. Now I've kind of moved everything down. Next is we can pull over these widgets from here over to here, and then actually use those, and that's what I'm referring to as far as utilizing this space. So for instance, I think in the last video, the video before that, I mentioned, I think it was archives, or excuse me, categories is what it was, setting up categories. And when you make your blog post, set up a category, what designing or coloring or interior design or whatever the case may be, we can utilize that. So if I drag over categories, pop this thing in here, and we can just call this categories. Don't really need any of this other stuff. And if I save this, and I come back to the main site and refresh this, now I have categories. So now I have all the categories that you've actually assigned posts to. So if I click, design, for example, it's going to list all the articles that are associated with design or whatever. So that's pretty cool to set something up like that. But we can keep going. We can keep adding things. Maybe we want to do text. I can drag this text thing over here. Maybe we want to make an announcement. So announcement. Some text and stuff goes here. And you maybe put a message with a link in here. Going to another page or helping something. With SEO. I would recommend doing that as well. All right, so save. If I come down, now I got me a little text box I can do some stuff with. So basically we can actually work with the majority of all these things that we have over here we can use to build stuff. Maybe you want to make a custom menu. So we have custom menu, maybe you want to link to stuff, and then the custom menu, we can put whatever menu we want in here. I'm going to cover menus in another tutorial. But let's say you can basically create your own menu. Maybe you want a menu that links to your favorite pizza place or whatever. We can make a menu to do that, and then if we made the menu, we can select it from here. So right now we have footer and the header menu. So if I select header menu, and I'll just put menu, I'll name it. And if I scroll down, now I got a menu in here, and this is the menu. This is the same menu that's here. All right, and like I said, I'm gonna cover the menus in another tutorial, but you can literally make 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 menus if you wanted to, and then you could just come over here and select it, and it's a custom menu, so you could choose to add a link, not choose to add a link. You could link it to Google if you want, link it to within your site. So these are all things that are great for helping your site, especially if it's a blog, and great with SEO. Things like, where is it? Let me see. Tag Cloud, I would recommend that. Let me show you what that is real quick. So Tag Cloud are highly common with WordPress and blogging. Tags I'll save that. More than likely this thing should be blank when we look at it. Tags, blank, right? So let me come to a post. And I didn't cover this in the post tutorial, so I'll touch base on it real quick. So we'll see tags. So we can just do colors, comma, let's see, design, interior, design, you know, whatever you think is important or related, you know, keywords related to your site. I'll click add. Let's see what we got here. Okay, no tags. Well, we try to set up everything by default, so now I'm feeling a little bit goofy because that's not working. Let's try one more thing real quick. Just bear with me for 1 second. Alright, I didn't hit save. I didn't hit save like a doofus. I added these and then hit save. So if we come back, we can now see they're here. So basically, these are extra links you can use to link within each article related onto your site. So the more you add these, the more show up in this section. So I'm not saying you have to use those, but they're there and they're available to you if you want to use those to actually create more space and fill up this gray bar that we have over here on the right with some other features and sections and interlink with each other and stuff. Let's go ahead and bounce over to the about section. Let me delete a couple of these because that way you can kind of come in here and do what you want to do before I forget. So delete. I'll leave the categories one though. Okay, the about us is only based on your logos. Let's see, and the about us section, we have the logos right here. I didn't know if you were just going to have 4, if you're going to upload more down the road. We've set it up for you can just keep uploading logos here, and it's just going to automatically space out, and you can keep adding those at will. So to do so, what we would do, let me delete this one, is just drag over the brand. Drag it over, let go of it. Title is basically what position it is. You can call it what you want, but that's how I'm naming it. So first, second, third. We'll call this one fourth. The link is where it's going to link to once you set it. And then what we want to do next is actually upload the image for it. So let me go ahead and find it. I think I'm on my desktop here somewhere. At least I thought I had this thing here. So where is it? There we go. Alright, go ahead and use this image. That's the button we want to click. And then where's it's going to go to once it's clicked on. Go ahead and paste in the link, hit save. Now if I come back to the about page, there's our logo, and if I click it, it should link to that section, which it does. So that's pretty easy and pretty straightforward with that. That pretty much takes care of the widgets, other than one last item on here, and that is the the events page where it says list out the events and the dates. Right here we have pages, and basically how do we populate that? Well, we set up a section in the admins where you can choose whether a page is going to show up in this box or not. All right, and to do so, if we're in a page, and I'm going to cover another tutorial on setting up pages, but I want to touch on this twice, just that way I'm covering both sides, both angles. So for instance, if I come to About Us, and if I've created this About Us page, on the right I have a section called Add to Widget. So if I click yes, and I update this, it'll show up in this section right here. That's how you get something to show up here. So you can actually choose which sections, or excuse me, what pages you want to actually show up in this area. And if you don't want it, obviously you just leave it unchecked or unselected. Alright, that's going to do it for the widgets.